Ubisoft in big trouble. Puny Human is shutting down. Baldur's Gate 3 producer has joined Fable, developer Playground Games, and more in today's video. Welcome back to CpyNews, and let's get into our first story, shall we? And this story comes from IGN. Former Ubisoft execs arrested after year-long sexual harassment investigation. So this one's pretty bad, guys. So according to IGN, 5 former Ubisoft executives were reportedly arrested. This was first published by French news outlet Libération. 2 of the people arrested are believed to be former Chief Creative Officer Sergei Hasquet, as well as former VP of Editorial and Creative Services Tommy Francois, who both left Ubisoft in the summer 2020 after sexual misconduct allegations. When IGN reached out to Ubisoft for comment, Ubisoft refused to comment, only stating that Ubisoft has no knowledge of what has been shared and therefore can't comment, which is corporate legal speak for we're keeping our mouths shut so as we do not incriminate the company further. This case will be handled in the Puny district of Paris. The police have collected over 50 testimonies from current and former staff, and the plaintiff's lawyer, Maud Beckers, stated the investigation reveals systemic sexual violence, which, holy cow, that does not sound good. And there is very little known on what's actually happened here because not a lot's came out about the case. So obviously this is not good for Ubisoft, and I'm not going to comment on the case. That's for, the courts to decide. I just hope, where any wrongdoing is found, the legal system provides justice for the victims. But Ubisoft is in deep waters right now. But anyways, guys, comment down below and let me know what you think about this situation. Our next story comes from GameSpot, and this is a sad one. 16-year-old studio Puny Human is shutting down. So this is very unfortunate news, but another veteran game studio, Puny Human, has bit the dust. The veteran studios worked on games such as The Callisto Protocol, Dystopia, Blade Symphony, Bard's Tale 4, and many others. Puny Human employed 20 full-time staff that will be laid off by the end of the year. The closure of the studio comes from a client refusing to pay. Mike Sanders, the CEO, said a client refused previously agreed upon payments, which deprived us of the cash flow to fully pitch an in-progress game, which led to the successive failures in operating income. CEO described the situation as heartbreaking. Mike Sanders says that he takes full responsibility for the outcome, but I feel like he's being a bit harsh on himself, being very unfair to himself. Could he have done more? Maybe, but ultimately this occurred due to a client refusing payments that were agreed upon, right? Leaving the company without cash. And as I said before, these studios rely on their income in order to, further develop the next game, and they often work on slim profit margins. So one client refusing payments or the games engine like Unity demanding more payment can be enough to skew the books for these small companies and shut down the studio, costing talented people their jobs, like in this situation. And the company is going to use the rest of its time to make some of the early projects that they worked on open source. They're going to release the source code for those projects, as well as selling off any remaining IP that the, Puny Human might have. But I just hope the best for the staff, and I hope the CEO doesn't blame himself too much. Because it's clear that he is, and maybe there was more that he could do, but ultimately a client refusing to pay you for something that you've done for them when you've got future games to be made, that's a massive blow, and it's not exactly easy to magically find the money to replace that revenue, right? Let me know what you guys think down below. Our next story comes from WCCF Tech. Baldur's Gate 3 producer has joined Fable developer Playground Games. So yeah, Ryan Clark, who worked at Larian Studios for 4 years, has taken up a new role as a senior producer at Playground Games. It is unclear if he will be working on the next Fable game, but given his background from working on Baldur's Gate 3, it only seems logical he would be working on Fable. Either way, it looks like Playground Games picked up a very talented producer to add to their arsenal. So the only question I really have for you guys, because it's a pretty simple cut and dry one, he's joined their team. Are you excited for a new Fable game? And if so, do you think it's smart for Playground Games to add more talented people to their roster, especially people with, RPG backgrounds and who've worked on games such as Baldur 3. Does this make you more excited for Fable? Our next story comes from VGC, and this is a very positive one. This is a positive one. This is a good one. Returnal studio, Housemarque, is relocating to an advanced gaming headquarters. Housemarque, the developer of Returnal, has announced plans to move into a new studio. The new studio will be in Helsinki, Finland's capital. Mikhail Haveri, Housemarque's brand director, said, Housemarque, a member of the PlayStation Studios family and Finland's longest-standing gaming firm, is gearing up to launch one of the Nordic's most advanced gaming headquarters by the end of 2024. This facility will not only be a testament to our rich gaming legacy, but will also be a beacon of innovation and creativity in the northernmost capital. Sustainability remains core to our values. Our revamped hub will champion green initiatives, ensuring a balance between technology and planetary care. As we embark on this transformative journey, we're committed to further solidifying our position in the world of gameplay innovation. And according to VGC, Housemarque's next game will be a new IP, using ideas and the narrative systems originally planned for Returnal. I mean, that's cool to see a studio doing well and expanding right. So hopefully the move goes well for them and the new environment will give them the ability to develop games the way they want and innovate the way they want in the future, right? Because, this could be a very massive step for them in terms of having a building geared up to do everything that they need to do with CGI, mocap, AI technologies. I don't know whether they're going to do in-house voice acting, but if they can have everything that's advanced in one place and can work closely together to get it done, then this could be really, really good for the company, and I wish them all the best. And we have another story from WCCF Tech, and that is that AMD's FSR3, it's out, and it's in some games. And we actually have a direct comparison, although not the best comparison between FSR3 and DLSS 3. FSR3 runs faster than DLSS 3 in Immortals of Aveum, but stutters more. So let's get into it. So finally people are getting a look at FSR3 and can compare it to DLSS 3, but unfortunately, the only game with both currently is the Immortals of Aveum, which has poorly optimized performance according to WCCF Tech. So FSR3 features frame generation like DLSS 3, however there is one key difference. When Nvidia uses a trained AI network to decide which frames to present to the user, AMD's FSR3 does not. It uses a DX12 based replacement swap chain. What is key here is that not only does the swap chain decide which frame to present to the user, but it also handles the pacing of the frames. WCCF Tech notes that this may be important for the end result, as while AMD's FSR3 does generate more frames than DLSS, even on Nvidia's cards, where a 4090 saw a 16% improvement in Immortals of Aveum from 95 FPS using DLSS 3 to 110 FPS using FSR 3. It is also noted that Nvidia's DLSS, not gonna lie, this is like reading tongue twisters, 3's 0.2% percentile FPS is higher than FSR 3's 1% percentile FPS. So what this means is that while yes, FSR 3 will deliver more FPS to the user, it may also introduce more stutter due to its 1% and 0.2% lows. Now this is not a conclusive conclusion. As previously stated, Immortals of Aveum is not well optimized, and this is the only current game where a side-by-side testing is currently possible, and may just be an isolated incident, either due to game design or poor optimization, or poor implementation, right? But it is something to keep an eye out for in the future. As more games adopt both technologies, when we see them in games side by side, we can get more accurate comparisons. But overall, this is still good that FSR 3 is out. It's still a great addition to the gaming community. Bringing frame generation to many more devices across all GPU brands, which is only good for gamers, right? This doesn't just extend to AMD's current and, AMD's current generation of cards. This applies to RTX cards. This applies to previous AMD cards, right? It applies to Intel's cards as well. So this isn't a technology that's just limited to one device. So it's still going to be interesting to see, and there's still going to be worthwhile use cases. We'll just have to see how it's implemented more in the future and how that affects its performance. And so you as a consumer can decide which would be better for you to use given a specific use case. Because in a more betterly optimized game where, you know, your lows aren't so low, this stutter may not be an issue. But obviously in games where there is optimization issues or some other issue with the implementation, it might not be as worthwhile using. Let me know what you guys think about this one. I think it's interesting that we have both technologies now, and I hope to see it adopted in a lot more games. And this was reported over on Twitter from Nintendo of America. Nintendo 3DS and Wii U online play and other functionalities will end April 2024. So as of early April 2024, online play and other functionality that uses online communication will end service for the Nintendo 3DS and Wii U software. And Nintendo of America says, thank you very much for your continued support of our products. So that's sad if you have a 3DS or a Wii U. Online play, online communication, all that stuff's going to be going away, and I guess that means, you know, really it's the end of the life of these products for the online segment. Obviously, you're going to still be able to play your cartridges on them. You're still going to be able to, you know, use that. I don't know how this will work for games downloads or anything, though. I do believe you can download games on the Wii U, so I don't know what that means in regards to that, but sad times. And our final story of the day, which comes from IGN. Red Dead Redemption Update 1.03 quietly adds 60 FPS option. So Red Dead Redemption has released a 60 FPS option for Red Dead Redemption on the PS5, which honestly, it should have had this from the start, right? But if you do own the game on PS5, it might be worth retrying it or checking it out with the update in all of its 60 FPS goodness. It should hopefully make the game feel a lot smoother. Because I really did enjoy originally playing Red Dead Redemption back on the PlayStation 3, but I do feel like it was a bit sluggish. So even back then it was sluggish. So I couldn't imagine playing it now at 30 FPS. I think it being at 60 would give it a lot more of a fluid experience, especially with the shooting and stuff, right? And using Deadeye and all that. Sometimes it was very annoying. It felt like, I don't know, you aimed at something and it just went too fast. Because it's of the frame rate and everything, it just made aiming and moving about a little bit clunky at times. But anyways, guys, so let me know what you think about this below. Have you tried the 60 FPS option for Red Dead Redemption on PlayStation 5? And has it improved the game significantly or not?